I'm very excited to have a bit of Nuttah.
Actually, to be fair.
I'm very excited to crack into that first. Been really looking forward to that in can. I had it as soon as it came off the canning line, but I haven't had it since. So I'm very excited. Very excited. Hi guys, if you've joined us already, we'll wait for a couple more numbers to add up, and then we'll get going with the tasting for this evening. Thanks again for joining us. Very, very excited. So first beer tonight is going to be Original Nuttah. I will introduce my lovely handsome friend to the left of me here in just a second. As soon as more viewers have arrived, we'll get the thumbs up and then we'll start our introductions. But yeah, we're going to start on Original Nuttah this evening. So if a few of you guys want to crack into some of the beers, open up that can first, because that's what we'll be drinking first. Super exciting. Not something we've done for a wee while now, actually, a brown ale, especially not in can format anyway. It's generally something we do for cask. So it's really nice to have that come back into our arsenal and play with that. I'm really, really excited to drink that. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's good. I agree. Like, it's going to be completely like different, like compared to like Clwb and all the fruit beers we do. Like something that's a bit more classic and appeals to people that are just a bit different, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, are we happy? Happy to go?
Yeah.
Maybe give it a
Few more minutes. You can see we're nice and bright and shiny and outside today in the sun at Tiny Rebel HQ. We're just sat outside the bar at the moment. We're just doing takeaway food and takeaway beers for people. So you might hear a little bit of background noise as people wander up and grab their food and head off home. Feels good to have a Friday, eh? To be outside decent. On a Friday, have some of our beers.
Yeah, there's people dropping in actually as well.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Cars outside.
And having this weather as well is just, it's the best. It is the best.
It's lovely.
The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Gaz isn't here. Gaz has got the night off this evening, so we've had to throw in two of his understudies, I'm afraid. You've probably seen my face before. I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead, introduce now, and we'll start this thing for real. So, hi guys, thanks for joining us again. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy this evening. We're going to be running through a couple of beers. We've got 5 beers for you this evening, so it's going to be really good fun. So I'm Alex. I'm the current lead brewer at Tiny Rebel. I've done a few of these now, so it's not my first rodeo. And on the left of me is Aidan. So Aidan, introduce yourself. Yeah. Let the guys know what it is you do here, where you've come from, what your background is, and then we'll crack on with the first beer.
Nice. Yeah, I'm Aidan. Me and Al, we work together in the brewery. Yeah, Al's the head brewer, and I'm just work as a brewer at the moment. And yeah, I come from Scotland. Me and Al come from a similar background. We both studied at Heriot Watt, done a brewing and distilling degree. Yeah, come down here, Tiny Rebel, job was open, and I just launched at it. So like, was it 6 months now, isn't it?
Yeah. You started back in what, August now?
Yeah, it's gone quick.
So mid-August. This is your first brewing job, isn't it, Aidan? So
it is, yeah. I mean, I worked in a small, like micro brewery, but like nothing compared. There was just a bit of a step up, to be honest. Like, and yeah, it's really cool. Like, really enjoy it. Like, and yeah, we've got all these amazing beers that are coming out. I think we drop beers quite regular, to be honest, don't we? So
very regular.
It's just
very
trying to keep up with all of that. It's just there's always something. There's always something new, to be honest, and yeah, it's always exciting. Every day is different, isn't it, sir?
Wicked. All right. Well, without further ado, we'll crack into the first beer. So, first one tonight is going to be Original Nuttah. So this is our nut brown ale in a lovely 440ml can there, nice and yellow. Oh, that sound! I've been looking forward to this all day, literally all day.
Oh yeah.
Look at that colour. That is awesome. In that sunlight, that looks cracking, doesn't it?
That's shining.
That is a shiny brown ale. Your pour is a lot better than mine there, Aidan. I've done a terrible pour. Lots of head.
You would get a job in a bar, would you?
But that is beautiful. It should be just as bright as mine is. You should be able to see the mountains in the distance through your glass. It is just stunning, this colour.
Yeah, it's what you want from a beer like that. You want just absolute clarity, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we said that from the outset. That was our most important thing. It had to be clear in the glass. It had to have a beautiful glistening colour. And it is exactly how it says it's going to look on the can. It is that chestnut brown color. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
and on the nose as well. Oh, man, I'm so excited about this.
So why did you decide to make a nut brown ale specifically?
So we do lots of crazy beers. We do lots of awesome IPAs, but it's very rare that we get to dabble in that old school kind of traditional style, especially in this small pack format. So, you know, we got really excited about the opportunity to bring something like that to the table and to show you guys what we can do in terms of our traditional beers. And this is exactly that. You know, this is a perfect brown ale. It is just great. And it shows that we can do sensible beers when we want to. We can do outlandish and crazy beers as well. And all of them are going to be balanced, you know. And again, that's what we wanted in this. We wanted that balance.
Yeah, like I think like this can go as far as like, you know, some of my age to like something my granddad would drink, you know, like I thought about sending him some myself actually, just because it's quite an old style of beer, to be honest. And it's, you know, it's malt driven. Instead of something that's like an IPA, because like a lot of beers, I think nowadays are kind of lean on those kind of hop driven flavors. And I think
heavy adjuncts or things.
Like pulling it back where it's kind of flipped around again, back to what it used to be, where it's more malt driven, cereals driven, and it's got a bit of sweetness and a little bit of bitterness in there, but
yeah, absolutely. I'm still just absolutely gobsmacked by that color. It just is so nice in this light this evening. It's really beautiful.
How do you achieve that?
So yeah, how do we achieve that? I must just start by saying no nuts were harmed in the making of this beer. This beer has no nuts in it at all. So if anyone has any nut allergies, do not worry. No nuts have come close to this beer. Aidan, would you like to tell us a little bit about the malts that went into this one?
Yeah, we used quite a special base malt for this one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So Chevalier.
It was. That wasn't the plan. Was that the plan initially? Was it? All right, okay. But so what was it?
So
we ordered about a ton of Chevalier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't use all of it, but the base malt was Chevalier, which is it's an old landrace barley. It's pretty ancient, to be honest, and it was used quite a long time ago, and it's been brought back nowadays. But yeah, we put that in basically just for a bit of like classic flavor, really. It's really, really unique. And then on top of that, we used different specialty malts just to give it that kind of red hue. We used a bit of low chalk as well, didn't we?
Yeah, bit of low chalk for colour there.
Yeah.
We used a little bit of carafa there in the sparge just to make sure we didn't get any roastiness through, because we didn't want that, did we? We really wanted that balanced kind of malt presence, but we wanted that colour to come through from that. So we used some of that. We also used a couple of Belgian malts as well, which is a little bit out there for this style. So we've got some Chateau Biscuit.
Bit of a spin. And
some Chateau Rhum. Bit of a spin there. Chateau Rhum, Chateau Biscuit. And that's where a lot of that kind of nut aroma is coming from. You get that heavy kind of biscuit on the nose as well. That kind of rich tea biscuit sort of smell is exactly how that malt characterizes itself. It's just amazing.
Because it's quite full-bodied as well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty full-bodied. I don't think it's sweet, but it's certainly on the sweeter side of brown ale.
Yeah.
I think you tend to get brown ales that cross over into that bitter category, you know, the best bitter category, or an ESB almost. And they tend to be, you know, slightly drier and more bitter, whereas this is far less bitter than that, and it's a little bit sweeter, but I still think it's got a real good balance to it. And, you know, that malt character is just wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you got sweetness, it's kind of, I think, well, for me personally, I think when you've got something that's sweet, it's almost like salt. It can just enhance flavors.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So when you've got that malt and that sweetness, and there was a little bit of esters and fruitiness as well, it just kind of rounds it off and just, it's quaffable.
It's another great point on that one. So we really wanted this style to showcase our house yeast. And, you know, we've done exactly that with this. So we had elevated fermentation temperatures in this one to try and kick up a few of those esters. So, you know, you're getting a little bit of strawberry on the nose there, picking up like that. It's really, really cool. I think it blends nicely with those malts.
It's really versatile, because it's the same yeast we use for Clwb and basically, So
pretty much all of our chords. So yeah, it's come out really nicely in this one. So the hops on this one as well, two absolute classics. Straight off the bat, we knew what we wanted to brew with this one. So East Kent Goldings and Bramlin Cross. Have you used those hops before, Aidan?
Yeah, pretty classic, aren't they?
They're just the best, aren't they?
Yeah, English hops, you know, like I think with a style like that, you've got to use something that's a bit old school, really.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really going to get away with American hops in these kind of beers.
No, not at all.
It's just not going to work, really.
Not at all. And I think they add that real kind of classic touch to it. It's got a little bit of marmalade in the back there from the East Kent Goldings, and then that Bramlin Cross.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that slight woodiness and a little bit of spice in there. It's just beautiful. Not overpowering at all, but you can feel it just in the back, on the back of the palate.
A tickle.
I suppose a little tickle in there. It's delicious.
When you compare this with the process of making Cooch, are there a lot of similarities, or is it different?
Yeah, the
I'd
only
say it's
difference
pretty
was
different.
Yeah, Cooch has got a wee dry hop though, doesn't it? So like, I think that's what the main difference would be. Like, the base more or less similar in a way, you could I guess simply say, but like, it would be like Cooch is, it's kind of like almost like a hybrid kind of ale, isn't it?
Very much a hybrid. You know, it is a Welsh red ale. That's how we brand it. But at the end of the day, it is a hoppy red. You know, it has that bitterness, has that dry hop character to it, which has that sort of intense hop aroma and relatively intense flavor as well. So, you know, original Nuttah is that old school brand, you know, and then Cooch is that new school take on an old school brand. A little bit drier, slight bitterness as well with Cooch that I don't think you have in this one necessarily, but yeah, those are the main differences there. Cooch, again, you know, it's using some of those new world American hops like Columbus and Citra. You know, this East Kent Goldings, Bramlin Cross, your traditional noble varieties as opposed to your new world ones. So
how do you think this would do if it was in cask?
I think that's the perfect format for this beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Slightly lower carb.
Yeah.
And yeah, just pulled through a nice handle. I think that would come out so nice.
Yeah, because we used a bit of torrefied wheat in this, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, a little bit of torrefied wheat. Not too much because of the effect that it might have on hazing. But yeah, a tiny little bit for body and head retention.
Yeah, exactly. So the torrefied wheat is a non-malted cereal, just gives you more foam and stabilizes that. So if it was on cask, it would just accentuate that and give it that nice creaminess on top. And
and I think, you know what, I think this is creamy as anyway. I think this is really, really creamy.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of nitro in this one, very, very small amount.
You can tell actually.
And yeah, it comes through really nice, and it just rounds off that body beautifully. So, have we got any comments about this one, guys? Anyone asking any wee questions on it?
Asking if we're going to put it in cask.
I would love to put it in cask.
Should we put it in cask?
I think you should put it in cask.
We should put it in.
We should put it in cask.
Yeah, we'll put it in cask.
We'll do that.
There we go then.
We'll be putting this in cask.
Sorted.
when cask makes a return.
Yeah, that's true.
You heard it here. We'll be putting it in cask. I know Gaz will be very happy about this because he was getting flies around me because this was one of his favorites that we've done recently. Same with Mark as well. You know, our operations manager, production manager. He's really, really keen on this beer. He's been really happy with it. So
yeah, it's kind of like
we're all really happy.
Back to basics. That sometimes that can be a good refresher. You know, like you could do all these crazy things with beers, but going back for a second, be like, that's that as well. And then you can just there's so much you can do really. Yeah. But just don't forget where it came from. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so. And again, you know, using some of those heritage varieties of malt is just great. You know, as a brewer, you're handling these raw ingredients every day. And being able to get your hands on an ingredient that you haven't used for a long time, you know, so for me, that's East Kent Goldings, one of my favorite hops. Haven't used it for ages. Last time I used it, it was in leaf format rather than pellet. And, you know, getting that in was just, oh, great. We get to use some of these again. And it's the same with the malts as well. You know, they're all really exciting. But when you're making your bread and butter beers, your standard core beers, you know, like Clwb, you know, we've only got 3 malts in there. Sometimes you want a little bit of spice in your life and to get a bit of Chevalier in there and have some fun with some different
got any more plans to do any more beers that are sort of more traditional style and not so angry?
We do. In fact, I think we've got a bit of a hybrid of both of those things. So we've just been asked, have we got any plans to release any beers with that old school style in mind and that are not too out there? Actually, we have. We have just brewed something very interesting this week. It's a little bit left field from what we normally do, but still on that tiny rebel vein. So, am I allowed to say?
You could probably give us a tiny spoiler.
We might be doing something strong and dark, but classic. No adjuncts have touched this. No vanilla, no custard, no coffee,
Any lactose?
no chocolate, no lactose whatsoever. This is a straight up Imperial.
Whoa.
And it's going to be fantastic.
It's gonna be good.
And yeah, we're really, really excited about that. It turned out really, really nicely. We've been trying some of our new techniques on that, and we'll revisit these techniques a little later when we go on to Double 99, which is one of our adjunct stouts. And yeah, it's a great process. So we're really, really happy. We're just improving it every time at the moment. So can't wait to revisit that one with you guys in a little bit. That'll be great fun. Right, should we move on to the next one then?
Well,
Bit of a Flake
do you
cleanse.
want to let everybody know
Where we are,
where you are?
the scenery. Do
What's
indeed.
that on?
It's very comfortable. So we're currently sat on this lovely pile of red, which could be yours if you go on our Instagram only. We've recently done a giveaway. We've teamed up with the guys from 45 Barbecues. So shout out to you guys, Nathan and the team. Thank you very much for sorting this out for us. We provided the beer. They provided the barbecues, the fridges, and the seats.
Barbecue.
Which are beautiful, I must say. They are absolutely amazing. I mean, this fridge, I don't know if you guys can see it, but fridge in here, there's a speaker there as well, which is awesome. This is like the perfect garden setup, isn't it? We've got one of our perfect draft systems going in there as well, and then heaps of beer, absolutely heaps of beer. So all you've got to do, tag one of your friends, tag all of your friends if you'd like. That would also be preferable.
The more the merrier, really.
You've got to follow us. You've got to follow 45 Barbecues on Instagram as well, and you could be in with a chance of winning this. Aidan, would you like this for your garden?
Yeah, I might take it when I leave, actually. Yeah, this looks absolutely amazing. This
The barbecue looks weird.
oil drum barbecue.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I can't wait for a barbecue. I literally cannot wait for a barbecue.
Yeah, I think you'd be a popular person if this came out.
You would, yeah, you definitely would. Especially with one of those perfect draft machines. I mean, being able to pour draft at home is just, it's the best. Right then, let's crack on with that cherry bomb, I think. Exciting. I could drink that original Nuttah all day.
Yeah.
That is so tasty. Cherry bomb.
This is going to be quite the contrast, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Bit of a palate cleanse.
Look at that colour.
Another great coloured beer. I think, do you know what? All of the beers that we've got today have a fantastic colour to them. Look at that. That is so red.
Yeah,
it's
that's
almost
amazing.
the same colour as this red next to me. That is insane. That is awesome. So I must say, you know, before we start and crack on with this beer, this is the first time this beer has ever been in can. So we're really, really excited about that. We've only ever released this on draft in the past. The recipe hasn't really changed at all, I'll be honest. Only real thing that's changed in this is the cherries that we use, which we'll get onto in a bit. So yeah, let's crack on with the beer. Cheers.
I mean, that's definitely cherry, isn't it?
Oh, it's insane. The nose is so good.
Because I think I was asking you earlier, wasn't I? Because you guys brewed this. It was about
a year ago. In fact, you know what? I think it might have been even longer than that.
Yeah.
I think it's over a year ago now. We usually brew it in summer. Again, you know, released for draft. So yeah, I think it must have been over a year.
Yeah.
I
I
remember you drinking this in Tiny Rebel Cardiff.
Yeah.
Great.
Because you guys were, a lot of the time we get a beer that comes back and the guys talk about it in the brewery, and this one came back and you guys had said you'd done it before, and I kind of asked if it's the same recipe and stuff and all of that, but it's turned out really well. Like, it's unmistakably cherry, really, isn't it?
Oh, it keeps going as well in your palate. I think that's the thing that's so nice about this. It's not just sourness. That fruit just like develops and it's so creamy and chewy and just delicious. That pink head on there as well. That's something we got really excited about. Having that color carry over to your head as well. That just ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
It's the thing, like any fruit you add into a beer, it just immediately Well, I think yeah, like we've done it quite a few, with a few different beers, but like it just takes on that color. Like
How do you achieve that colour in the head then?
It is
a mystery.
very, very. It's a mystery. It's actually really, really simple. It's two things really. One, having good head retention to start with, which is very difficult on a sour. So in this particular beer, we've actually got quite a few complicated malts in the background. Some melanoidin malt, which is going to boost some of your head retention there, and you've also got some torrefied wheat and some malted wheat in there too. You know, all of these things are going to provide that head retention and some of that mouthfeel as well. Number two, second part is lots of cherries. The trick is as much fruit as you can possibly fit into an FV.
Yeah, we was 500 kilos.
500 kilos. That's the one.
For a single tank.
Single tank. So 500 kilos into 5,000 liters. You know, it's a lot of cherry.
To hike up the stairs, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You know, we have to carry these boxes of cherry up there. You know, 20 kilos each. Up the stairs and down the stairs. And
everyone loves
when there's
it.
500 kilos, it's quite a lot. Quite a lot of work to do, isn't it?
Good workout though.
Very good workout.
Staff love it.
We'll get on to that kind of a workout when we talk about no capes in a little bit. That had lots of fruit in. So we'll talk about that too.
Because kettle soured as well, this one.
This one is kettle sour. Do you wanna take the guys through how we kettle sour?
Yeah. So just like any brew started, we make a mash, we put it into a copper, and what we basically do is instead of adding our hops and such and then moving it on to the fermenter, what we're doing is we're going to cool it down to specific temperature, and we're going to add lactobacillus strain instead of yeast, and that's going to give it's going to ferment, but in a different way, and it's going to add a sourness, but a natural sourness. There's a few ways you can make a sour beer, and you can add artificial souring agents, so you like acids and such, and it's going to give you a similar effect, but to get like a complexity of sourness, you can do it with a microorganism, and it's going to give you that kind of depth and a bit more body and stuff. So and
for the guys who might not know, what is lactobacillus and what does it do? And is there any other kind of like food product or beverage product that it might be used in?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a microorganism, and similar to yeast, but it's not going to produce the same compounds. But I know that like you can get it in fermented yogurts. Like it's very similar. Because when you eat yogurt, it's got that little bit of a tang to it, doesn't it? So it's pretty similar actually. But on a scale where you're making beer and you've got 5,000 liters and you're just putting this culture in, it's just going to go crazy and it's going to make it pretty sour, whereas if it's controlled, in a way. So it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. It can be quite difficult to use as well. We've had some issues in the past with our lactobacillus. Just the way it ferments when it's in the kettle, it can be very unpredictable. Sometimes it will chomp through sugars, sometimes it won't touch the sugars, and it will produce far less acid. Sometimes it will produce loads of acid. So I think we found quite a happy medium now. We're actually using a lot less than we used to. We used to pitch a number of quite a high volume of it, and now we've really reduced that volume down, and it's actually proved really beneficial to us. We're getting a faster drop in pH, so that's how much acid is being produced. The lower the pH,
because a beer that's in there. Our normal beers would finish at about pH of 4, where this would be about 3 to 3.5 kind of thing,
exactly.
wouldn't it? And you get that tartness. But again, like with the lactobacillus, like it's instead of fermenting it like 20 degrees, these things ferment happily at like 37. So it's almost double, the temperature. So
it's fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, isn't it? Like,
it's really cool.
Different types of cherry that you would use in this beer?
Yeah, we do. So this is the only thing that's changed in this one compared to the old cherry bomb. We're still using a sweet cherry, but it's a slightly different variety of sweet cherry that we're using in this one. Don't want to give away too many secrets. You can't know where we get our cherries from. But yeah, that's the main difference in this one.
Yeah, the
I
supermarket.
think this one is slightly less tart than the one we produced, you know, a year and a half ago. I don't think it's quite as sour because that was really, really, really sour.
Like cheek
I think this
squealing.
Yeah, I think this is more balanced. You know, it's got that lovely malt character in the back, which I think just enhances the richness of the cherry.
Again, that's that kettle sour, isn't it? It's just a bit milder, you know. But again, like, because when you're using fruits, sometimes, yeah, they give that sourness as well. And both of them together, it's just going to...
Yeah, which I think we might experience later. We might experience something that's quite sour and it's got a lot of fruit in it too.
So what happens to the cherries? Like, how do you get rid of the cherries in the end?
So we're really lucky. We get our cherries delivered to us in a puree format. So we don't have to worry about pitting them, getting rid of any stones, because that would be just ridiculous. You know, some companies do that. You know, there's many different ways of doing that. There's a really, really cool technique that for any of you beer nerds out there called carbonic maceration. You want to look that up, go and look it up. It's something that's been stolen from the wine industry and used in sour beer for a very long time now. It's basically the process of using carbon dioxide to break down the cell walls of those cherries or whatever the fruit is, break it up so you can extract as much sugar and as much goodness and flavor from those fruits. It's a really, really interesting process. We don't do that. We get ours pureed for us. It's all ready to go. And we add it into the fermentation vessel. There's still a lot of romance there. You know, Aidan's got to carry all the boxes up the stairs.
Yep.
Which is very romantic.
It with my bare hands.
And yeah, squeeze those bags of puree in. But yeah, you know, we're all about consistency here at Tiny Rebel. And I think if we were to do a more natural process like that carbonic maceration, like that fresh fruit straight off the tree, we wouldn't have the same control. We wouldn't have the same consistency that we're looking for. And, you know, this is really the only way we can do it is having that aseptic fruit brought in for us and added to the fermentation vessel. I know Shane, our lead seller, is much happier having everything nice and controlled.
Yeah, I think if you did whole cherries, it would be a little bit tricky to get them out again, wouldn't it?
It would be really tricky. We've had some fun fishing things out of fermentation vessels in the past, and I don't fancy fishing out cherry pips.
1,000 cherries, no.
Do you think there would be a nice food pairing to go with this beer?
Oh, this is a dessert beer. Absolutely. It's got to be a cheesecake.
Yeah, I can see that.
This is the perfect beer to go with a cheesecake. You get that lovely yogurty mouthfeel. It just fills your whole mouth. It's so creamy. And then you've got that lovely cutting edge, which would just go so nicely.
Cut through the fats.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agree with me, Aidan?
Yeah, I think I do actually. Yes, good choice. Yeah.
Changed my mind.
Yeah. No. Terrible.
Have we got any questions about this one, guys?
Obviously, and can you repeat the question? Just so you guys got the mics as well. But is there any plans to do any more like fruit bombs? Because obviously we've done strawberry, we've done a lemon sour, we used to do a raspberry sour. Do you think there's any opportunity that we do another?
I think there's loads of opportunity. So we've just been asked, you know, is there a chance that we'll be producing more of these kind of fruit bombs, our sour range in the future? I mean, Aidan, you know we want to. We definitely want to play with some of the fruits.
Yeah, if there's demand for it, then I don't see why not.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh man, I mean, we're waiting on a sample at the moment for some dragon fruit. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be like and how that flavor is going to come across. We always have many pans in the fire. We're always talking to new suppliers. So if any are watching, send us an email. Yeah, drop me a DM. Look at our giveaway. You could win all of this. You know, we're always looking for new and interesting flavors. And again, you know, fruit is one of those that we are really, really into. We've played with many different citrus fruits with our sours in the past. And again, you know, we've played with red fruits, you know, forest fruits like this too. So there really is kind of no limit. If you guys have got any suggestions, we have loads of suggestions, but feel free to type them away. Maybe we'll make one of those. So, you know, nothing is off the table really for us. Wicked. Shall we move on to the next beer then? We're going to go back to an old classic.
That is good.
That is good. Right. Straight into one of our 4-packs of Clwb Tropica. Oh, how easy was that?
Nice.
Straight in there.
Oh,
Got a
thanks,
lovely
buddy.
car alarm in the background. There we go.
And we've got the sun. Perfect pairing. That's what goes best with the Clwb.
Perfect bit
The
of
sun.
Clwb Tropica in the sun. From one of our 4-packs. You can get one of these 4-packs from one of our supermarkets, so Waitrose or Sainsbury's. So really, really easy to pick up, or on our online shop. And pick up some of our other beers too. Whilst you're at it. And booze.
Yeah, if you're in the north.
If you're in the north, there you go. Booze as well. There we go. Look at that. That's a beauty.
That's a
Another
summer
good
beer.
colour. Another good colour.
Yeah. There's not much to say about that one, apart from perfect summer beer garden beer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. I think we're all really excited for when the bars can open up. You know, we can have pints of Clwb Tropica outside. This, if you guys have ever visited the brewery bar, our HQ, you know, you'll know how special it is, especially when the weather is like it is today. It's just an amazing vibe. And again, you know, you've got our beer, so what could be better? But yeah, we invite you guys here as soon as you're allowed to. Please come and visit us. We've got the opening date, which has eluded me.
Yeah, outside of the open on the 26th of April.
26th of April. Get that date down in your diaries. We'll be
Pretty
opening up
soon.
our outside premise for you guys to come and drink some of our beer, eat some of our food, and enjoy some of the sunshine with us. And hopefully the weather will be perfect when that opens up. It's going to be wicked.
It will be. It will be perfect.
It will be perfect. Adrian has assured you it will be perfect.
It'll be good. No, it will.
You're going to
It
get
has
knocks
to
on
be.
your door.
It has to be.
Can you just take us through the journey of Clwb a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So Clwb really is, you know, other than Kutch, which really started it all for us, it is our most important beer. It's the beer we produce the most of. It's the beer that you guys drink the most of.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real good reason for that. It's a really, really nicely balanced beer. It's a tropical IPA. It's got a good ABV. You know, it's not too strong, but it's enough to carry through some of that body and make it really, really delicious. Like it's not decadent, but it's got a deliciousness about it. You just want to keep sipping it. And I think back when it was brought out, it was so different from anything else on the market, being a tropical IPA. You know, Aidan, can you remember the first time you tried it?
Yeah, it's very sessionable. Like, I think it's one of those pints that you can just kind of have quite a few of. I think that's why it does so well and why we sell so much of it. Like, you can just knock it back. Yeah, like I think it was the first tropical IPA I'd ever had, to be honest. And I don't know how it kind of happened. I don't know if we're probably not the first, but like there probably are quite a few of them out there. But I think we're one of the.
Yeah, I would say we're probably one of the first people to kind of really pioneer it as a style, certainly in the UK anyway.
Yeah.
I remember myself, like the first time I tried it in a bar up in Edinburgh, and as soon as I drank it, I was like, I have to homebrew this. I have to try and brew this at home. And I literally did that weekend. You know, bought loads of tropical fruit juices and tried to recreate it. It wasn't as good.
No.
It's never going to be. But you know, like it's one of those beers that really inspires people.
Yeah.
And I think the reason it's done so well is because it's a craft beer converter. You know, it takes people who perhaps just venturing into craft beer and it goes, wham, try this. This is what you need to be on. And as soon as they get hooked on that, they're into our world. You know, they're trying all of our beers. They're trying many other breweries' beers as well. And that's what it's all about for us. You know, that love that the industry has for everyone and you know, its patrons is so important to us. We really thrive off the feedback we get from all of you guys and, you know, bringing you new and cool flavors. But at the end of the day, we always come back to beers like Clwb and Kutch because they're our homeboys, you know, our home beers.
Yeah.
Can you remind us just of the profile of Clwb? What's in it? What are you getting?
Clwb is just a tropical bomb. It is amazing. You've got all of that mango in there. You've got sweet pineapple on the undertone. it almost has this amazing kind of like vanilla sweetness, which cuts through all of that. And it all kind of culminates in this sort of, I always say it's like, oh, blimey, it's escaped my mind. Someone's just ran past and taken my thoughts with them.
I think we all saw that. We're just like,
Like squirrel. Yeah. It is literally like that tropical fruit salad. That is always the best description for this beer because it's got it all in there. It's got that lovely boiled sweetness to it, and it's just
it's like a little dance of like hops and fruit, really, isn't it? And it's just, I think,
nice. Like that.
Well, yeah, I've only been here for 6 months, but I guess you guys have just perfected it over and over and over, and it's just become a very balanced and sessionable beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean the malt recipe is pretty simple, isn't it? And the hop profile is. Yeah, it's pretty classic. And
do you want to name some of the hops we've got in that?
Yeah, we've got Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic. Really, it's the classic three.
Three classics. The unbeatable
works.
Pairing.
Yeah, it really works, doesn't it?
You know, we've been brewing this today. I brewed this this afternoon, and every time you brew it, you get to the end of the brew day and you're like, nailed it, because we're, you know, without blowing our own trumpets, we're so good at brewing Clwb now. We're so consistent with it. We're really at a point where we're really, really happy.
Yeah.
You know, we are producing a lot of it, but we haven't bent the knee to kind of mass production of it. We're not filtering it. It's completely unfiltered, unfined. You know, it's still super hazy. We still pay all the same attention to Clwb as we do to any of our special beers. You know, it's our most important beer that we produce. You know, I tasted 5 different Clwb guiles today.
Good day.
A very good day, Aidan. Very good day. You know, and that's all part of our quality assurance package. It's making sure that our beers are tasting how we want them to taste, making sure that they live up to that quality standard that we set. That's really, really important to us. And, you know, Clwb is the perfect example of that. We brew enough of it to go, this is what we want, and set that standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So guile is a very, very old English word. I won't go into the definition because it'll probably bore you to death. But basically, the word now has changed and it's used to describe a whole batch of beer. So every time we produce a batch of beer, for instance, if you hold up an empty can now and you look underneath of it, it'll have a set of numbers under it. You'll have your best before date and your guile number as well. That's really important to us because it means we can trace that beer wherever it has gone, whatever ingredient has gone into it, and who has brewed it, when it was brewed. All of the information associated with that is linked to that one guile number. So it's really important to us. In terms of that tasting panel, though, in our quality assurance package, that's so important. You know, it's so important. The last thing we want to do is spend all of our money and our time brewing a beer, putting it in a tank and putting it in a can without having tasted it, because there is always that chance, that very small chance that something's gone wrong, or it just doesn't live up to that quality standard that we set.
Yeah.
So Aidan, do you want to explain a little bit about our taste panels and how we kind of do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, once the beer's finished fermenting, you know, you've got it in the fermentation vessel. It then gets put through a machine that basically spins all the yeast out, and we clear it up, and then it goes into a conditioning tank. Before then, we're like we've
Tasting
required,
it all the way, haven't we?
basically, yeah. But we've got 2 people that have got to at least try it. We have like basically a minimum of people that can have to try it before it can go to the next phase.
Yeah.
So yeah, once it's in the conditioning tank, it's been basically, it's call it like a polishing machine. It basically spins all the yeast out and gets it all prepped and clean, basically, and it goes into the conditioning tank or the bright beer tank, where it's basically bright beer,
Pretty
clean
much ready
beer.
to go,
Beer
isn't it,
can,
at that point?
from that point, the beer can go into any format. So it can go into keg, it can go into can, bottle, whatever. But once it's in there, it's the process is we require 3 people to then taste it, and we basically rate it from a scale of, well, there's different parameters, but in different flavors or whatever the beer kind of is specified as. and once it passes there, it's pretty much good to go. But then even when it's in can, you know, we're making sure that it's the right beer going to the right can, kind of thing.
We follow that
it-
guile all the
yeah,
way through, don't
it's-
we? So it's not
It's
just
traced the whole time, isn't
tasting
it?
it when it's been brewed, which we do. It's not just tasting it in the fermentation vessel, which we
Yeah.
do. Signing it off, you know, pre and post transfer
Yeah.
to conditioning tank, like Aidan's saying, you know.
But it's not even
when
one
it's in-
person, is it? It's
No, exactly.
multiple
You know, it's
people.
a chain
So
of
yeah,
people. Everyone, not everyone, because that would be crazy. But we try and get as many people as we can to taste the beer to make sure that we are hitting those flavor notes that we're looking for, those quality characteristics that we're looking for, all the way through the process.
Yeah.
Even once it's in the can and it goes into our warehouse, we're still pulling guiles back. So that
Yeah.
special traceable number that we spoke about, we're still pulling those out and making sure that they match that profile that we've set.
like
Even if
what's
they've gone
that
out to
club doing?
marketplace,
What's that one
because
doing?
that's still really important to us.
Yeah.
You know, so we're always pulling those out, making sure that they taste okay. It's the same in our large pack as well. You know, we go back and we look at our casks, we'll look at our kegs, and we'll make sure that they're tasting absolutely right as we go along, you know, periodically. Make
Yeah.
sure they're
Does
tasting
club
good.
taste like club? And is it good?
Exactly. Is this the best club that it can be? Is the question we always ask ourselves with club. Is this the best club that we can do?
What do you prefer drinking it in can or keg?
Keg.
Keg, yeah.
It's the best.
Is that a bit like
I think it's more just, no offense, Aidan, I think it's more just, you know, drinking in the pub. Having the pub, you're great company and all, but being in the pub is very special. And having that
is.
draft beer is just, but
You're right.
being, being able to have a can at home is also really good. I tend to have a little stock of club in my fridge at home to pair with curries, because I just think it's the perfect beer to go with a curry.
Yeah, I can see that mango and
So
stuff.
good.
Yeah,
It's so good. I like
That
quite
works.
a sweet curry, so it goes really nice.
that would work.
Yeah, you should try that, man. Or anyone else, try that. It's good.
One of the other questions now was a little bit off the beer. Any plans to do a low calorie beer session? Low calorie beer.
That's
It's a
a
question
very
from
good.
Gareth Williams, master brewer.
Gareth Williams, Master Brewers.
Yeah, with a
Not
little
in the
accent
house,
to
but
his
he's
name.
watching. So Gareth Williams, never heard of him, has asked us, will we be brewing a low-calorie beer? Very good question, Gareth Williams. Wish you were here. This evening.
know.
Yes, we will be brewing a no-calorie beer. We've had a little play with one already. We are just sending it off to get some results back from our external laboratory, just to make sure that the calories are where we say they're going to be. It's really, really important that we hit that target on the head. We can't tell you it's going to be, 100 calories or 99 calories, for instance, without it being within a certain parameter. So, we don't want to lie to you guys. We want to make sure it is low calorie. So that's the first step that we've got to at the moment. We're still very much in flavor development with that beer. I'm not afraid to tell you that. We've played with beers like this in the past. Club N8 is not a low-calorie beer, but it is one of those beers that we really had to tweak the recipe and play with to get that flavor across. Low alcohol beers and low-calorie beers are notoriously difficult to carry across good beer flavor. So that's what we're all about. We want to give you guys that beer experience, and we don't want to give you, pardon my French, a half-assed effort at a low-calorie beer. We want to knock out the park, don't we, Aidan? So we're going to work really, really hard to make sure we can do that for you guys. The first shot was really, really good. We've just got a couple of things we want to tweak up on it. And again,
basically, we didn't
waiting
think
for
it
the
was
lab.
right, and we didn't want to pass it on.
Yeah,
We're not going to label something that's mediocre, are we?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely, man. And again, we keep trying until we nail it with that one. So, right, are we ready for our next beer?
let's do it.
I think I'm ready.
Are you?
Yeah. We've been talking about this one, or alluding to it quite a lot this evening. So this one over here are No Capes, Apricot and Vanilla Lassi IPA. Very exciting. So this is a big boy. This is packed with all of the flavour and all of the apricot that South Wales have to offer.
From your garden, right?
Yeah, all from my garden.
I think this is going to be another beer where the color is going to be. I think it's a bit of a color
This is a colour
theme,
evening.
really. You know what
Colour
I mean?
evening. As if our pale skin against this lovely
What are you trying
rusty
to say?
background wasn't enough. We've given you some lovely coloured beers too. There we
It's
go.
like an orange.
This is a very strong beer, so please drink it responsibly. But look at that colour. It makes me want to drink all of it. This is insane. And look at that head retention as well. Just like we were talking about earlier with our cherry bomb. Got all of that wheat in there, which is really carrying that head retention. And we've also got all of that fruit as well. So Aidan, would you like to tell the guys a little bit about this beer and how we made it?
Sure. Yeah. Where do I start? It basically, yeah, a lot of fruit again. Yeah, lumping it up the stairs.
How much fruit do we put in this one? And what fruit?
Apricots.
Just
Yes.
apricot. Indeed.
1,000 kilograms of apricots.
1,000 kilos.
Actually, no, we didn't lump this one up the stairs. It was pumped in through drums,
We
basically.
did a bit of both, didn't we?
Yeah. But it was quite a simple malt mash, really. Doubled up, make it quite strong, and then most of it was just the addition of fruit. But with that, the fruit really added a bit of sourness to it. Like, not too much of a sourness, but almost like a tartness. So, like, it is quite sweet. Like, if you taste it, like it's rich, but that sourness kind of like cuts through it as well. But I think most of there was a lot of fruit in this. Like, 1,000.
It was quite a lot of fruit. I remember it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 kilos is, double what we normally
It's
put
a lot.
in one of our fruit beers. Generally, we're looking at about 500 kilos. We
Yeah.
went the whole hog with this one, and we put in 1,000 kilos of apricot.
Is that
as
the
Aidan
most
says.
we've done?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the most we've done
Why did you
to
make that
date.
decision?
Just love apricots, man. We really wanted to give you guys apricot puree in a glass and to really, pack that flavor in. When we say we want a beer to taste a certain way, we have to give you that flavor experience. That's so important to us as brewers. Tropical IPA, it's got to be tropical. If it's not, we don't make it and we don't send it out. This had to be apricot and vanilla forward, and I think it does that. It's that petit
definitely.
Falou apricot yogurt on the nose, that amazing tart apricot marmalade on the palate, and just super creamy kind of yogurty lassi in the background.
Will this make your bones stronger?
Maybe.
I don't. Yeah, you got to say maybe. You have to be careful with these things. I don't want to make any health claims that it will
Yeah.
make your bones grow stronger.
On a survey of 2 people, they said, yeah.
Yeah. Certainly feels stronger.
Can you just explain to us what a lassi is and what that means?
Yes. A lassi is a mystical beast. I'm glad that you asked me, because Aidan's from Scotland and he would have gone off on some sort of Burns poem talking about women. That's not what a lassi is.
Yeah.
It is in Scotland, but it's not here. A lassi is actually an Asian kind of yogurt drink. It's often spiced, it's often fermented, so it's got a little bit of sourness in there. Obviously, yogurt is relatively sour anyway. And, many brewers have started making this style of beer, these lassi IPAs, which are very much fruit forward. They have that sourness, they have that yogurty kind of lactose, creamy kind of vibe in there as well. Aidan, have you ever had a real lassi? I've got to admit, I never have, because
No, but I
I'm
imagine
lactose
this is
intolerant.
exactly what it tastes like.
yeah,
Maybe.
it is. It's very, very close. I know when we were designing this beer, we had a number of different lassi IPAs that we tried. So we were really happy with this one when we did produce it. Very similar to some of the others that we've had.
Yeah.
And again, just that
I mean,
colour is...
I really get the yogurtness.
Yeah, the yogurtiness is amazing, isn't it?
I think we nailed that one, like, definitely.
And a little bit of vanilla as well. Just rounds it off really nicely. Perfect kind of sweetness in there. Otherwise, I think that apricot would come across way too tart.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it is very tart. As I said, 1,000 kilos of apricot in there.
It's a
A
lot.
ridiculous amount of apricot.
It's rich.
Yeah, it's super rich,
Yeah.
super tart. But again, I think it was worth it just for the color because it's so beautiful to look at.
Yeah, like this beer is one of the ones that you just like you open up and you just it's a lot for like
Pours
one
a
person.
room.
Just open it with a couple of friends and just check it out. Yeah, it's good. Like
Cheers. The crew behind behind you guys in front of us
I've joined in.
are now joining in and having a no capes themselves. Aiden, no
From-
capes. Do you know where that's from?
Yeah. What, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do. It's The Incredibles, right? It's
Yes.
the best part of the movie.
Yes. Darling, no capes.
Yeah.
That is where the name has come from. And I guess there is a question in there somewhere from someone.
Yeah, one of the questions in there was who does the can artwork? for this?
Oh, it's
Who does
great, isn't
the
it?
can artwork?
I think it's my favorite can.
Yeah, I think it's
come
a
out.
banging can. I mean, it is next to the double 99 can though, which is also very strong. So Taz, who is our creative designer, you know, she is the one who puts all of these designs out for us. She literally designs our whole brand, you know, with Brad and Mo and the team behind her as well. You know, their ideas gets fed through her, and like a Play-Doh machine, she spits out these ideas onto the front of these cans, and they look amazing. You know, this can does look so cool. If you look around it, it's actually got all of the little superheroes who ended up getting their capes caught or their capes led to their downfall, which is why you're not allowed capes in the film, The Incredibles.
Yep.
We don't. You do. Right, what?
High
Hang on a minute.
Hi, this is a cape.
No, we follow very strict health and safety legislation, so we can't wear capes
It does say no
in the
capes
brewery,
on the
but we do wear super suits and high vises.
same thing, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
And guys, this is mentioned as issue 1 on the can. Any hints or spoilers what issue 2 might be if we do issue 2?
This was the question that I was alluding to. This was the question. I knew there'd be this question. Funnily enough, you should say that. I do think there might be a number 2 on the way.
I mean, yeah.
You know, an issue 2 of this beer.
It's a gentle hint just being issue 1. I think that's
General hint.
Yeah.
Yeah, general hint, really. Nudge, nudge. You know, it's not just a comic, a magazine reference to an issue. We will be bringing out another one. In fact, we may have brewed another version very recently. And it's tasting very, very good. It will be released very soon. Can I give a date?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it'll be very soon.
It will be soon.
Soon.
It will be soon. So keep your hats on. Be ready for that. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm very excited about this new one. I will be honest. I'm not going to give anything away. I want to, but I'm not going to.
just patience.
Just patience.
There's something
Just
coming,
patience,
and it'll be good.
Alex. But it is tasting absolutely awesome. Yeah, we're very excited about this one. And I think it could lead to a really, really interesting series of Lassi IPAs. You know, it's something that is really kind of taking the craft beer world by storm at the moment. And we wanted to have a little play and see what we could come up with. So again, it means we can play with some really interesting flavors. We can play with some really interesting ingredients. And that's what we as brewers love to do. So yeah, very exciting.
It's not very hop forward, but it still has the IPA in the name. What part of the process allows you to be able to give it that IPA stamp as well?
Yes.
What hops?
Yes.
In the Scottish accent.
Yes. So I've just been asked why this is an IPA. What makes this an IPA? It has dry hops in there a little bit, and that is basically what makes it an IPA. It's really not a hop forward beer, but it has been hopped in the background just to make it come across as something that is more kind of beery.
Fruitier.
I don't want to give too much away though, because then you'll be able to steal our secrets, and that would be wrong, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really, this beer is about the fruit. You know, it is about being a Lassi. It is so punchy in its flavour; it's just insane.
How do you choose, or how do we choose the can size for the beer? So is there a rule that we use, or some of the guys are asking us? Obviously, we have some 330, some 440.
Very good question. Very good question.
Is it a bit random?
I'm not going to ask Aidan that question.
I feel like it's a bit random, but like I think the the bigger beers that you should share, I think, are in bigger cans.
There you go.
There you go.
That's generally how we do it.
Share it with friends because they're
Yeah.
stronger and you need help to drink them.
It's better to do it
Yeah.
together. Yeah, generally we have been releasing our slightly bigger and more bold beers in that full 40ml format. We also release some of our super sessional beers in that format as well, because sometimes you just want as close to a pint as you can get. So, you know, it really does depend on that beer, what we're trying to get across. With this particular one, you know, it's 8%. And as Aidan says, you need a friend to drink it with you. It is a big, bold beer. By all means, drink it by yourself, but drink it responsibly. You know, and the same for Double 99. You know, that is another big beer, 9.9%. And, you know, it's designed to be shared with your pals. Wicked. So I reckon we'll move on to the next beer then. Our final beer of the evening, and one I'm so excited to drink.
Yeah, me too.
We released this one just before Christmas last year. And we have rebrewed it. We've made a couple of tweaks to the recipe. So for those of you who have tasted the old Double 99, you might notice a slight difference. But we think you guys will prefer it. It is better, in my opinion.
Improved.
And process-wise, we had a lot of fun doing this one. First time we brewed it, it really was one of those experimental beers. We've never brewed anything quite like it. And we really threw the kitchen sink at it. It cost a lot of money to make. And, you know, we didn't really have any room to kind of make any mistakes in there. So it had to be right. This next one, so this one you're drinking now, which is our version 2, you know, our issue 2 of Double 99, I think we absolutely smashed it out of the park. You know, we kind of set out what we wanted to change with it, did it on the day, and I think it's come through really, really nicely. What do you think, Aidan?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the day that we did it, to be honest. We got, again, it's always a massive amount of fruit or something, but like this was, what, 400 kilos of cacao nibs, and when those arrived in the brewery,
so good.
I think they were just opened, and I could smell them from the other side of the brewery. It was insane, like just in its raw form. And then, but we did a mash with it, so it was like it's sort of like a cereal mash where we're soaking cereals in water just to get the sugars out. We did a separate one with cacao nibs. And the brewery just smelled like a chocolate factory. Like it was insane. It smelled so fucking good. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. No, we did invite Willy Wonka, but he didn't pick up the phone, so he couldn't come in and teach us his ways. But we did use cacao nibs. We used the same cacao nibs in this one that we did in the last one, and we added most of that during that mashing process, like Aidan has spoken about. The main difference between this one and the last one was we wanted to extract a kind of different flavor from that chocolate or that cacao nib. So instead of an overnight steep, relatively hot, we did a colder steep and for a shorter amount of time. And we were hoping that would kind of make it a sort of sweeter,
creamier,
more creamy, milky chocolate. And I think we've really done that in this one. This is literally
more delicate
dairy milk chocolate. It is insane. You know, we added a little bit more cacao powder into the fermentation vessel as well, just to boost that chocolate flavor. But that's basically just powderized version of the cacao nib. So it really is just a cacao nib beer. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's insane how much
rich,
flavor that carries.
velvety,
across.
isn't it?
How do you achieve the ice cream part of it?
Very good question. How do you achieve the ice cream part of this beer? Well, a lot of that is down to the lactose that we add. So some of that residual sweetness is made up from that lactose, which is a milk sugar. So that provides all of that kind of milk character, that milk flavor. It gives that sort of vanilla flavor to it as well, and it just rounds it off so nicely. You know, this is actually not a sweet beer at all. I find this really, really balanced.
Yeah, it's I guess it's that simple, isn't it? It's basically when you get like a milk stout, it's
yeah,
the baseline of that, really, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, if you get it right, you can get it to taste like chocolate ice cream.
Which this does. This is literally
Yeah.
melted chocolate ice cream. It is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, man. One of the other things we did differently on this is we tried our new Imperial Stout mashing technique, which is to reiterate your mash. And all of you brewing nerds who might be watching, it's a really, really cool trick that you can do where you essentially run off your first mash into your kettle, heat it up to your strike temperature, and then run it back in for your second mash in. And it just concentrates your work. So we haven't had to add any sugar or any other adjuncts to this. This is all malt that is provided, this sugar here.
Yeah.
So we're really, really, really happy about that. You know, obviously we've got lactose in there too, to be fair. But no cane sugar, no demerara sugar has gone in this. This is all from the malt, which is just amazing what you can achieve, isn't it? Really
takes time, really. Like it was just a long process of it was just a lot of patience, really. And because you've got that concentrated mash, it's just like thick treacle, isn't it? And we collect it so slowly, but it's just that patience and that care, and you just get a really good beer at the end of it. Like,
so you and I actually brewed.
We got the late shift on that one, didn't we?
We got the late shift on this beer. We were there for a very, very long time. The first runoff went into kettle at about 11:30, I think, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, you know, we mashed it in. We were running off by about 12:30.
Yeah, because
we didn't finish running it off until about 8:30, I believe.
Yeah, it's a 2 brewer shift, really, that one, isn't it? It's a big beer to make for us. Like
3, because someone else mashed in the first one.
Oh yeah, of course.
I then took over, and then you then took over me.
Of course,
and we saw it through towards the end.
It's a big beer. It takes 3 brewers to make it, basically.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
So yeah,
it's a thick mash. You're having to mash that last little portion in by hand because you're literally brimming the mash tun. You know, that recent, I'm not going to mention any names, but you know, we did a classic stout the other day that was quite large. And
Not the one you were talking about.
no, it's definitely not the one I was talking about. And you know, that was bringing the mash tun in the exact same way as this. And you know, you have to reiterate those in order to get that strong concentrated work out the other end. And it does, as you say, Aidan, it takes such a long time to get that.
Yeah,
it is a really long process.
What happens to those cacao nibs at the end? How do you clean that up?
Didn't
What
we?
happens?
They went off and we fed them to
did.
sheep, didn't we?
We did. So we're really, really lucky here at Tiny Rebel. We've got a lovely local farmer called Ian, and he takes all of our spent grain from us and recycles it. He feeds it to cattle and sheep. And our cacao nibs were the same. They actually went to some lovely sheep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that will make some.
It was a bit of a treat for them, I think.
Lamb.
Yeah.
At some point.
Chocolate
lamb.
Chocolatey lamb.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, he took those off our hands and they were recycled back into the food chain. So again, yeah, some lovely chocolate lamb. I mean, I'd love some of that, Ian. If you're listening, some chocolate lamb would be nice.
I think everyone's getting a bit merry.
Really?
Strong beers.
Yeah, these are
How are you guys
quite
feeling?
strong.
Fine.
Really good, actually. Do you know what? It's actually just so nice to be drinking this beer.
Yeah.
Having not had
my
it since
favourite.
Christmas. We had this as the 24th beer on our advent calendar for any of you guys who had the advent calendar. And yeah, you know, that was my favourite beer from last year, to be honest. So
Yeah,
I'm really happy
this is
we got to
definitely one of
brew
my favourites
it
as well.
again.
Yeah, it's just a dessert beer as well. Like, yeah, the Apricot Lassi was, and the Cherry Bomb as well, but like the double 99.
Oh, it's just so good.
Yeah, it works.
It's just so good. I've never had a stout like it, to be honest. There's something about the mouthfeel that's very, very different from all of the other kind of heavily laden adjunct dessert stouts out there. I just think it's really, really well balanced, and it is like all kinds of chocolate. You get that milk chocolate at the start, and then
a bit of dark chocolate, like some like
dark chocolate at the end,
if you
exactly.
I think it's on the finish. You get that like kind of like dark chocolate kind of like,
Slight bitterness that
Yeah.
just lingers.
yeah, it's just that intensity of chocolate in this. Like,
Yeah.
I think, well, of course, like that much cocoa nibs is going to do that, isn't it? So,
Mm.
Can't get an Easter egg,
Just drinks and
Yep.
$1.99. If you can't get an Easter egg, $1.99.
just hide them around your garden.
Or pour it inside an Easter egg. That is also a very good point. Yeah, this is so good.
And now we've released this beer twice now. Is there any others that we think we're going to do any re-releases of any old beers?
I think we might do some re-releases of some old beers. Yeah, definitely.
Depends on demand, really, isn't it?
Again, am I at liberty to say? Is the question.
Tune in next month.
Tune in next month. We're always looking to release, the same beers or variations on a theme. We've played with Stay Puft, for instance, many times. We don't actually have any pans in the fire right now, but Stay Puft will be released in a variation at some point. So that's one you can look forward to, without a doubt. We love playing with our stouts. We will definitely play with our stouts again. So, we've already alluded to our bombs, our cherry bombs, for instance, our fruit bombs. We will definitely be bringing out another fruit bomb at some point for you guys. We just love playing with these flavors. So we never say never to a flavor unless it's horrible. But we love playing with flavors. So we'll definitely be bringing out some old classics at some
Are you
point.
ever going to make tomato spaghetti IPA?
I thought we sold out of spaghetti
we sold out
tomato hoop
quickly on
IPA.
staff order.
Yeah. Some
was
of you
so
guys may have
good.
noticed our extravagant new beer that we released and was instantly sold out. Our collab with Heinz. Will we release a beer like that again? Question mark. I don't know. Aidan, would you like to see that beer again? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it will be released next April, right?
Next April, perhaps will be the
Maybe.
second iteration. Yeah,
we'll see.
very good.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see you next April for updates on the Heinz.
Is it possible to make a beer with tomato?
Yes. Do I think it's possible to make a beer with
course.
tomato? Yes.
Of course.
I've read many a recipe for beers that have been made with tomato, and it's something that I would really like to do. I know that not many people would like to, but I would really like to.
Why don't you whip up a recipe and...
Funnily enough, fermented tomato is supposed to come across very similar to Sauvignon Blanc. It actually ferments very, very dry and has a real kind of grapey gooseberry finish to it. So I would love to see that in a beer at some point from someone, us, or maybe someone else.
Tomato
Would
and
be very
basil IPA, anyone?
Tomato and basil, yeah. Full pizza, Neapolitan.
Pizza IPA?
Get a bit of that
Why not?
mozzarella on there. Tomato and basil. Tomato and basil goes would be very good. Actually, a
work.
suggestion from the back over there. I really, really like that. That could be interesting. I've had basil sours in the past. Very, very good flavor combination. So
I mean, tomato is just fruit, right? It's sugar,
it's
isn't it?
very
So,
fermentable. It's very, very
yeah,
fermentable.
it's going to be.
So realistically, how much flavor you're going to get across?
Tomatoes aren't
Yeah,
that flavor
Be
similar,
interesting
are
to
they?
see.
But we'll see.
What?
Depends what tomato you get.
Yeah. So we've gone from tomato to spaghetti hoops. How do we get to work? Soft serve spaghetti hoop would be nice. So I think pretty much done with our beers now. So thank you very much for coming this evening, guys, and watching us again. We should be releasing another one of these virtual tastings within the next couple of months, hopefully, with our next drop, which will be very, very exciting, and more news will follow hopefully soon. We've got some amazing beers coming up, so hopefully you guys can tune in, watch and drink those beers. That would be great. Again, just to reiterate, we've got some fantastic prizes up for grabs. Go over to our Instagram page, tag your friends, follow 45 Barbecues, follow Tiny Rebel if you don't already, and just keep tagging your friends. Put it on your story, whatever it is. Tag Aidan, tag Alex.
Yeah.
Tag Brad, tag Gaz. Message Gaz, tell Gaz you want the barbecues. And the winner will be announced on Monday. So you really don't have very long, actually. It's 3 days. That's 3 days, quick maths.
Get tagging.
So good luck. And all this could be yours, you know, perfect draft machine in there as well. These are custom painted perfect drafts. There is no other perfect draft like this in the world. Pretty special. And you'll get some of our perfect beer to go on your perfect draft, which will be awesome.
Nice.
So thank you very much for joining us this evening, guys. The sun is going down now. Thank you, Aidan, for joining me.
Yep.
Thank
you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.